Hi to anyone who's joining. I was watching Popcorn Planets live, and that's probably where all of you are right now. I decided to make my own just because I wanted to react, and mainly because I just couldn't follow them. I'm going through a hard focus day today, so I couldn't take all the um like extra solicited what do you call that? Oh, stimulation. Anyways, okay. Just to catch everyone up so far, because no one's here anyways, and probably no one's going to be on here. But I support Popcorn to Planet. Andy and Kim support them and support Inner City Press. I'm going to share my screen here too. This is where I'm getting everything. So, um, this is a live update from this reporter as he's there. This is what has been happening so far. I have not actually seen this, and I have a class in about 30 minutes, but Um, all is then we're here. I've consolidated the cases. I like to hear from the lively parties first, then the Wayfair Baldoni parties. I'd like to hear the information I'll need to manage this case, discovery information required, and legal issues. So I think we're still in the lively side of things. From my understanding, there's a lot more conversation between their lawyer and the judge. So I wonder if we'll hear like after Wayfair and Baldoni present their things on how he rules, or is he ruling by each thing? Um, but yeah, again, I'm just like recapping for myself because I joined in late anyways. So just going through really quickly. Um, so it includes the 168 page compendium. I love that I'm learning so many new words. Um, yeah, that's the timeline that they added. And the times we have may have its own views. Would like to confer um, the New York Times, given that the Wayfair parties added a new defendant, we have contemplated amending our own complaint. We have 2 weeks to do it. We think we can still make the trial date by. Okay, so why didn't you? Um, Oh, is it to that? You're suggesting you'll add new parties by next Friday? How quickly would you serve them? We'll ask them to accept service. If they say no, we'll immediately start trying to serve them. There's one set of lawyers on the other side. That's the other parties, right, that they were talking about that have also experienced what Blake experienced, they allege. There will be numerous depositions, including on the false light claims. And that, okay, so that's why later on he says, okay, we'll wait to depose everyone all at once. So we'll wait on deposition for that, for everyone to be included. This case involves a number of high profile individuals, including third parties. We intend to seek a protective order. There has been a significant amount of leaking materials to the media. Who started it. We want to list all the parties from the beginning. And also, yeah, it is high profile individuals, public high profile individuals also. And you started making it public. You each know of the third parties that are going to have interests, whose interests you are going to want to protect. You have a number of high profile people. What about Miss Jones? Okay, so then they talk about that. We'll see if that case gets consolidated for purposes of discovery. Okay, so that's why they're two separate lawyer parties with Stephanie Jones and Lively. We'll see if that case gets consolidated. Um, what what far along was the how far along was the California case or whatever? It makes no sense to be on two coasts. We're asking to hold Miss Lively's deposition as soon as possible. We don't need any documents to do that. So later on, the judge says we'll hold on. I'm not going to allow depositions for now. I don't want depositions to have to be done twice, so no depositions until we know who all the parties are. This is actually helpful to read it more continuously than waiting for it. But yeah, and then Leslie Stone and Vision PR. Sorry, that's what I meant. We're going to move to dismiss the false light and civil extortion claims for them, which I have to remember what that is exactly, what all of the claims are. This is really a case about the crisis management team saying they are going to bury people. They are just finger pointing at us. Oh, this was so painful to read. We want to move to dismiss. Are you moving to for a stay of discovery? We shouldn't be subject to it because my client's female run company shouldn't be subject to this. And I think the internet exploded, like, that's just what? Are we seriously saying something like that without thinking? This is a lawyer? You went to, like, law school, and this is this is what comes out as an argument that because they're a female-run company? What about interrogatories? I wonder the judge's expression. He probably was like just like stoic, just but like, oh gosh, that hurt. It's like that's the stupidest not stupidest argument. I'm sorry. That's a stupid thing to say, calling an argument the stupidest argument, but that is just so wrong. Are we not evolving? Are we going that backwards? I know in so many ways we're going backwards in life as humanity, but like, oh, seriously? That doesn't even make sense. Like we're just not going to trial or question women. Women are just like somehow protected no matter if they lie or don't lie or whatever. We believe you will dismiss us a defendant. Let me hear from the parties in Jones versus Abel. And they said, um, oh, it really makes sense. And then Abel's Friedman, my client's company is also women owned. And in New York State court, in this case, there was discovery before we removed the case here to federal court or removed the case. Mr. Gottlieb, the judge asks, and that's Lively's lawyer. We want to strike 168 pages, which is the timeline, which is all the new stuff. This is where it gets a little different because what was the purpose of that attachment, Mr. Friedman? Um, and Mr. Friedman said to show the basis of our claims, it's going to make discovery easier. We're putting it all out there. Not the best argument, I would say, but judge says that's what the federal rules are designed to prevent. So fair. We kind of knew that was going to be an argument. Lively's lawyer says, "Look at this. There are images of text messages, then a narrative from a speaker who don't know who it is. We don't know who it is. They have to be in the paragraphs of the complaint, so we can move under Rule 11. We are prepared to do that now." So they want to dismiss. Did I read that right? That they want to put it inside the complaint so the whole complaint gets dismissed? Lively's lawyer says, "We want Your Honor to know that they have put it up on the website. We think it's improper." And that's the website. Judge Lyman, the Lively deposition will not be taken for now, but Miss Lively does not get to choose who deposes her. No. And Lively's lawyer would be fine if they deposed without documents, but there are other parties. Um, so like they're saying, okay, yeah, Blake's okay, but the other parties are. Then the judge says submit a protective order, and then he'll decide on that. Is my understanding. And then Baldoni's lawyer, only documents that can be accessed by anyone online are on the website. Judge Lyman, I'm going to hear from Mr. Gottlieb. Gottlieb. about pretrial publicity in a moment. And then, yeah, if you can support him, um, I'll include this. I don't know if everyone can see it. I had to log into my X account, I guess. I Twitter for me, this is the first time since. Um, but let me actually copy this, copy link address, just in case anyone wants to support him. Oh, he'll need a bunch of coffee. He'll need a bunch of coffee. Okay. Um, and then the judge continues, I'll adopt the case management plan. Okay, so this is confusing. Whoever knows what this means, maybe we'll find out later. Um, but he made changes. Interrogatories due on March 14th. In Jones versus Abel, I'll adopt the plan, except that I'm not adopting the date for the joint pretrial order nor deadline for summary judgment. Not sure why. Mr. Gottlieb, do you wish to be heard on the pretrial publicity? And the lawyer says the issue is straightforward. The conduct of Mr. Friedman has violated New York rules of professional conduct. They prohibit extrajudicial statements like this. And then the lawyer continues, Mr. Friedman has made statements to the media across the country. We've provided that is true. That is different than what they've done. We've provided a list. He's appeared on the show of his former client Megyn Kelly. We put him on notice on December 23rd that he is liable and is now a fact witness. Um, but that came after, right? He continues, their responses, in essence, that Miss Lively, Livery, Lively started it, but the rules apply to statements of lawyers, and they haven't pointed to any. You can't. Well, okay, you can't just speak on and on and on in response. We have not requested a gag order. So if Justin Baldoni starts talking and putting things out there and leaking things to the press, that's okay. But the lawyer isn't okay to do that. But they would have also done the same thing, maybe not having like the protection for, I don't know. So yeah, we have not requested a gag order. We cite the General Motors case of 2015 about the lawyer's communication adopting the New York state rules for the federal case. Judge Lyman, why isn't the harm addressed by the ethical authorities in New York? Gottlieb, Mr. Friedman is pro hack vice. What does that mean? Lively's lawyer, their statements are being amplified on social media. It's very hard to unring the bell. Yeah, Judge Lyman, give me one or two examples. Gottlieb. On January 7, Mr. Friedman said, we are releasing the statements to show an attempt to take over the movie. On this client's show, Megyn Kelly, he said evidence is being planted. He said Blake Lively was no victim. She used allegations of sexual harassment to try to become the director of the movie. Uh, and then Judge Lyman, isn't that his complaint? And sorry, mine refreshes all the way to the top. And then it does include some other stuff back there. Um, and then the Lively's lawyer, you're not supposed to launch attacks on the character of your adversary. He is making representations about discovery material. We don't have an opportunity to rebut it. He took a video clip and released it, then commented on it. And Friedman says, for months before any filing was made in his case, the New York Times giving 12 hours notice to put an article that completely devastated Judge Lyman. You don't have enough evidence that Mr. Gottlieb was behind that. Friedman, they used the press. So that's like the latest. And then now it's like the slow refresh and waiting for it for the next thing. I don't know why they add. Oh gosh, it's just become so Everything's about money. Everything's about like how can we, look at this post, this ad, just more and more. It's quite annoying. I'm not going to talk too much because that was just what was like overstimulating for me in the other live. Again, this is a live for people that are having a rough Monday, just need a little bit more calm. It was literally, I was feeling it in my body, like just pain in my body, the stimulation. Um, Maybe like less sleep or whatever. So that's why I'm also talking a little not as big. But what do you guys think so far? I'm going to unfortunately have to hop off in about 20 minutes. But yeah, what are your thoughts? This is definitely interesting. I think about I just said I'm not going to talk in between. But I do think about as a judge, yeah, it's hard to be a judge, to be so impartial and so kind of not watching what's being said out there, but trying to stay on top of things. Yeah. Yeah. For anyone who's listening to this at work or just, yeah, part of me is thinking like if I'm quiet in between, I can say, "Hey, there's a new one," and it'll be it'll be something better. Maria, you're still processing. Yeah, I mean, they're still processing. I have a feeling, and Andy said this too, and I resonate with that. I resonate with that. I'm sorry, I'm struggling today. Like I said, um, if they, not, I was kind of when I saw the website, I was afraid. I'm like, it's great that they put it out there for us first, but they didn't include anything outside of, as he even says, anything that's not already public or easily accessible. Um, but having it under a website is a little, I don't know. It does kind of legally doesn't look as easily dismissed as, "Oh, okay, that's fine," as, "Well, they're accessing this information anyways, and we're just adding to our own case, and the public is able to access that case." It's a little different. So, yeah, no, refreshing on another page, on another tab, just so it's not as crazy. There's no news yet. I'm hoping it goes Friedman's way on how, yeah, yeah. And there's so much more talking, I feel like, involved than we're going to get to hear, but definitely, I'll put his information back on. Definitely try to support him as much as possible. He's doing other coverages as well, so it's pretty cool. The life of a reporter in today's world. This is really interesting and not new, I'm sure, but definitely interesting to have the ability to literally update your audience as it's happening, but hard. I wonder if he's doing this on the phone, that's like even harder. So it's great. Deeply appreciate it. It's also interesting to see lawyers talk, and I think we have such high regard for lawyers. We think they're just like possibly the smartest or smartest as far as using words and fighting with words and so forth. And then you see, some of the things that Lively's lawyer or lawyer's side say, like the women run business. And it's like, wait, maybe they're not. Yeah, the court is still in session, I think. There's because just like he said, "All rise," we would have probably been told like, "Hey, there's a recess," or something. So it's probably going to go through. I don't know if they have a limit before they take a recess, or they just go through it all the way until they heard everything and it's ruled, unless something that's coming up. But this is, I hate to say just a hearing because I know so little about, excuse me, about law, but it's not like a trial date. Like I don't know. I am so sorry. I'm feeling like I'm letting all of you down right now because I am just so off my game. It's not even funny. It's not funny. Um he's allowed to report it if the court is in session. Yeah, I mean, I think this also might go into this hearing as far as like what the privacy of this is, of we're okay to report and what we're not okay to report, kind of thing. Um, that might go into here. It is private as far as there's no cameras and no media coverage. But as far as like tweets, I feel like that's different. Like instant updates. Sometimes you see under like articles or like under CNN or some of those major um, places, they have like the updated little messages in on their actual website. I'm guessing if I'm guessing he would know. I don't think he would. Like I said, he's covering quite big cases. So like UN and stuff. So